Hi, welcome to episode 22 of A Fern Between Us.
We are two of the four owners of Vivac Winery. My name is Jesse.
And I'm Michelle. This week we have some special guests that are in the bottle. We have two of our friends, New Mexico wineries, that are sharing their version of Refosco with us. So, a grape that we both love.
One of my favorites. Traditionally, this has been our, we've made it since 2004. I think every year. Maybe we skipped a vintage here and there, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we
we
drank through our library version, so we can't actually track it.
So we're drinking the 2018. That would be our 14th version, I guess.
Wow, that's cool. So with us is Luna Rosa Winery from Deming. And Sheehan, careful.
Maybe I'll show these up this way.
Yeah, I was thinking when we talk about the wine themselves that we can for sure get those closer.
Okay, we will.
And then Sheehan Winery, which is located in Albuquerque. So all the grapes for all three wines are sourced from the same vineyard in Deming. And then you've got three wineries, one in the south, one in the central
Center of the state?
Yeah. And then us in the north.
Central Rio Grande, but center of the state.
I don't know
how you say it.
It's a heat wave. It's a long day.
It's hot in here because I've been cooking. Oh man, it's brutal. It's like...
Maybe it's just because you're so hot, baby.
Maybe you're so hot.
All right.
Anyway.
So, did you have any check-in kind of, of what's happening? Oh, you're about to get grapes. Our first grapes in crush.
I've got two big things. I got about to get grapes, which is the main important thing to y'all, and the main important thing to the winery. But then also, this will be my first grapes of the crush. We did not end up buying any white grapes from southern New Mexico this year, so we're a little bit delayed. I've been I took the week off basically. I did some work here and there, but we're ready, and here comes the grapes. Here in 4 weeks, you're gonna look at me and you're gonna be like, "Dang, that crush does a number on a guy."
We should take a photo of the before and after.
I'm all clean shaven, sorta. This is a beard, but that guy over here,
tidy.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm a little manscaped. Wee. No, but then on the personal life, I've got a hunt coming up. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I'll be hunting antelope. And so that's what I'm cooking right now. I'm cooking some antelope green chili for the upcoming breakfast burritos are mandatory on Saturday evening. Say.
I don't go on this.
I don't know why. She's invited, but all the ladies, the daughter, the wives, everyone's invited, but the wives somehow just skip out on it. I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's the uncomfortable, tight camping and manly
good food
man thing going on
no
here.
Schedule except for getting up at 4 a.m. It's not manly. Like we drink when appropriate, like you would if you were with us. She would drink appropriately. She'd be like
it's probably
"We've
foul
been out.
Stories.
I've already walked 3 miles. I can have a mid-morning rosé. I'm sure. I've been up since 4.
Oh, hey.
It's equivalent.
Don't get into my rosé. All the rosé is for Liliana and I.
Anyway, maybe Chris and Maddox are coming with us. I'm hoping. We haven't heard yet, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time.
Sweet. All right, well, so let's get into these Refoscos. Let's start with the Vivac Refosco, and we're doing that because the Vivac wines tend to be the driest of our neighbors and across the state.
Also a little dry, not dry, also a little, we tend to dig our wines on a little bit, slightly lighter body, slightly more acidic than most people. So moving that direction works,
Yeah.
Works in a good, slightly lower alcohol, things like that.
Okay, so Refosco is this awesome grape that is originally from the Friuli region, which is north of Venice in Italy. And those stingy people just drink it all. So it's really hard to get your hands on an Italian version over here.
We blame Paolo
Yes.
himself.
So Paolo, who's the winemaker for Luna Rosa, is also the vineyard manager for the acreage where we all are getting our Refosco grapes. And he's actually from the Friuli region, and that's how we ended up with Refosco being planted in New Mexico, and specifically him telling us that we needed to try making a wine out of it. But, you know.
Yeah, early on, you know, in our first couple years of making wine, he was like, I see that you guys are interested. I see that you guys are interested in the obscure varietals of the Italian region that I happen to grow. And we're like, that's a really bad Italian accent, by the way. Sounds more like Vlad the Impaler or something.
Oh, that's a bummer.
That's an Eastern, I don't know. Anyway, so he's like, do you want this Refosco? This is from where I grew up, blah, blah, blah. I had to plant some because I and we said, absolutely. So in 2004, we made our first Refosco, and we loved it ever since. We have not stopped making it, and we think it's one of our best wines.
And it has this really cool aroma that is unlike any other varietal. So it shows when it's young, fresh garden peas and watermelon, which sounds really weird, but go
Really
to your local farmer's market and buy those things, get a bottle of Refosco, and see if you can smell those elements in your wine. It's kind of a trip. And and of course, you know, Paolo is a fantastic guy, and we're really lucky to be able to work with him. And he did want me to make sure that I mentioned just how handsome he is. So he is, and who doesn't love an Italian accent?
I believe that he said the word cute, and I think, me personally, I think he is one of the cutest. You know what I mean? He's really cute. One of the best winemakers, New Mexico wide. One of the best winemakers stateside. You know what I mean?
Very nice. So one of the things before we move on to some of the other options is I do have to talk about the awards that we have won. So we have some nice accolades at international wine competitions, golds. That's always fantastic. There is that certain amount of wow factor for a lot of people when they hear about Wine Spectre magazine, James Suckling. I tripped all over that. Let's try that again. Wine Spectator magazine wine critic James Suckling. He actually gave this 93 points, which is absolutely astounding. That is a really phenomenal score.
And he posted it on his Instagram feed from his house on his porch saying, I'm drinking this right now. Have you ever heard of a Refosco from New Mexico?
And not only did he say that it was excellent, but that it bested some of those from Friuli.
No, he said it's equal to the best of Friuli.
Yes, excellent. Good job. Nice. So that's really cool, and it's $19 if you want to buy it.
Refosco?
Yeah.
Our Refosco?
Yeah.
I thought it was 24. No, it's 24.
No.
For sure.
Is it?
Yeah, for sure. Ours is 24. Our Tempranillo is 19.
Mm-hmm.
Refosco's not 24 for sure.
When did we change that? Because Refosco used to be 19.
Nope, it's never been 19.
Mm-hmm. I could pull up some.
What, like 10 years ago?
No.
We've been selling Refosco at 24 for a long
Has it
time.
been 24?
Yeah.
Well, I need to brush up on my homework then.
Hopefully we haven't been selling it underpriced for all these years.
Right? I know. I'm like, what does that pop up in the computer as? Anyway, are we ready to move on to
Yes.
Luna Rosa?
Which is
Paolo's.
Paolo. Paolo is the guy that grew the grapes for all three of us wineries. He's the guy we've been talking about. He's amazing. Luna Rosa Winery in general is amazing. He's been
So is their pizzeria.
winning awards. His wife Sylvia does insane pizzas of all kinds down in Las Cruces. They are a force to be reckoned with. Paolo has the winery and the vineyard that supplies most of New Mexico, half of a bunch of Texas, bunch of Arizona, on given years or whatever. So he's managing that. He's running his own winery, and then his wife is running the pizzeria in Las Cruces, and all of them are doing a bang up job. It's amazing.
Absolutely. And so right away you can tell that the Refosco, which is a 2016 from Luna Rosa, is a little deeper, bolder, but very close in nose profile.
They've got a similar composition as far as aromatics go, except for Paolo's is showing more age, which gives it kind of like that kind of candy, not
dried
candied,
fruit.
but that just oxidized, just a hint of awesome oxidized. The fruit's slightly oxidized. There's a little more, I would say, like nut aspects because of the oxidation and the age.
So for me, often what comes across as meaty, like the bacon in yours, as a Refosco ages, turns into a more nutty element.
And almost, almost you said the word bacon, and then all of a sudden I'm thinking meats, and this smells like very umami. There's lots of, it's almost like a steak. In some ways, like a.
But if you go back and smell yours, you're gonna smell how much bacon is on that.
Ours is a little lighter, a little brighter. This one's a little heavy. God, they're similar though.
They are, right? They really are.
A little, just deeper. Just all. It's all the same things, just a little deeper because of the age. Mm-hmm. It's
slight step up in body style.
I'm gonna say a little more concentrated. I'm gonna say a little. God.
He ages for a really long time in oak barrels too.
Yeah.
With that micro oxidation, I think that's part of that. Condensing.
And the constant topping up is makes you put more wine in a barrel because it evaporates through the pores of the barrel, and more so here in New Mexico than anywhere else. But so you end up putting more wine in there than you would somewhere else maybe that had a slightly more humid climate, and the more you put in there, whatever evaporates is always more or less flavor free, so the flavor stays in there and you end up with a concentrating effect in the barrel, and that's you can really tell that on Paolo's Refosco.
So
it's great.
Cheers, Paolo. Beautiful
Cheers.
Wine. I was actually supposed to be doing a multiple seminars at the American Wine Society yearly conference that was going to be in Washington.
Yeah.
And I was going to showcase Paolo's Refosco.
Good thinking.
It was going to be on New Mexico and Arizona wines, and I'm not going anywhere, so I had to at least talk about them to you guys. All right, so moving on to Sheehan.
Sean Sheehan.
Sean Sheehan.
He's a Albuquerque winemaker, new on the scene, young buck, killing it.
Young buck.
I get to say that now at the ripe old age of 44. No, but
how old is he?
He's younger than us.
I know he's younger, but not that much younger.
I
right?
assume in his 30s though.
Oh, Sean. How old are you?
Sean's in his 30s. He's you know that because he can still play basketball with the best of them. He ex-male model. If you didn't know, huge biceps. The guy's amazing.
You've really checked him out.
yeah, know it. Anyway, Sheehan is one of the best wineries in the state. I would have to say he burst on the scene maybe 3-4 years ago. I'm not positive exactly when. So, excuse me, Sean, if I'm off.
I feel like it's 6.
It might be 6.
Probably should have looked that up. But.
He's been extremely popular at all the the wine festivals. He's got a tiny little by appointment tasting
Saturdays
room.
and Sundays you can make an appointment and
you.
go and check him out. He also now has a brand new tasting room that's open daily in Red River.
That's right.
So, escape into the cool mountain air and
I was
check out some
off the cuffing it, and I'm glad that I was right. But he does have a by appointment tasting room on Saturdays and Sundays, and maybe other times too.
Those 2 days right now.
Okay. And he's making most of the wine at his own facility at this point. I know that in the past he had been producing it in a business negotiation with another winery's space
Facility.
or whatever, and then bring it back. But he grows some of his own grapes. He also buys grapes like us from Paolo.
And he has a brilliant
potentially
wife
others.
as well, who
Oh
is
my
a
gosh.
doctor.
She's
and
on the front lines, killing
Yeah.
it on the COVID thing.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
And a couple of really cute babies. I remember when we were trying to do this, and Chris and Lily and us and our babies and food stamps and crazy hours, and it's a lot. And I am so grateful that we are not in your place right now, Sean. So
Right.
let's talk about the wine.
All right. To me, do you want to go first or do you want me?
Go for it.
To me, this has this is a brighter palette, maybe even than either of these. I don't know on the oak aging in general, but there's definitely some oak in here.
I get some sassafras.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that. Yeah, there's a lot of like kind of brighter berry notes. It's
More pie fruit.
Yeah, it's a little fruitier, I think, than these other. Well, I mean, Paolo's is such a deep fruit. It's more like a baked fruit. This is more like a fresh fruit.
It's interesting. I was going with like cherry pie. Oh no.
Cherry pie, but not baked, not too baked. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, whereas this is more like
Well, especially go back. And now
Oh.
Paolo smells like
Brown
plum
sugar.
and
this smells like brown sugar to me.
totally brown sugar, and like a plum kind of. Now I'm gonna trip out on how to describe that. I have to think about it. And let's go all the way back to yours. Yeah, the bacon is prevalent. That smoky bacon, you know, when you get
Oh yeah, that's
like,
what I was saying.
yeah, like certain salads put bacon crumble on the top. It smells so much like that.
that's
But you also
interesting.
get the brown sugar.
Salad, by the way,
Oh yeah.
is this is the one red wine that I know, at least from us, but I've actually experienced it at other places as well. Can do really well pairing with a salad if you have like dried fruit and some kind of cheesy blue cheese, especially.
It works with blue cheese, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Most wines are just murdered by blue cheese. It
Yeah.
works with that,
Yeah.
especially if you do some kind of raspberry vinaigrette or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a little softer on the vinegar side, so that
Yeah.
vinegar is what hurts your wine.
Vinegar's rough.
But it's
But if you go-
amazing the
if you go
complexity
really,
of
really
a
light,
Refosco.
If you go really, really light on the raspberry vinaigrette, and then you have those two things, the cranberries and the blue cheese, it's pretty good. Not pretty good, it's really good. It's an amazing pairing.
So
what do you think?
What's
What-
his
vintage?
2017 on
17.
Sheehan's?
So he's older than us and younger than Paolo,
So in between.
in between.
I would say all three of these can age a ton more.
Yeah, for sure. We're looking at 10 years aging potential at least. We've opened some 04s even sort of recently, and they were still amazing.
They were rock and roll. It was incredible.
So I don't doubt these other two winemakers are some of the most skilled winemakers in the state, and I don't doubt that their wines will age like that as well. I think we'll see great things from these wines to come.
I think Sheehan's would be a great one just to sip on its own. I mean, I think all three of these are great sippers on their own, but often with that kind of concentration, people can get some palate fatigue without having food with it. And then ours having the higher acidity, what really transforms a wine is when you have it with food and that chemistry happens in your mouth. So I feel like, this is easier to have on its own, which is kind of a nice way that if someday we could do an event and have a dinner where we did different pairings, it would be kind of cool to figure out how each one of these shines and pairs differently and what that does.
Imagine that if we did like a winemaker dinner, not a winemaker dinner. Well, even a winemaker dinner, but like if you had like 5 Cabernets from 5 different winemakers for 5 different courses or whatever, that kind of thing. That would be bad. We can't do that. COVID.
But, we can dream.
But
All right. So, cheers, Sheehan. This is fabulous too.
Cheers, Paolo.
Thank you guys so much.
Both you
of
guys.
these are absolutely incredible. Everyone, go out and stock up and do this at home. Try them next to each other and try them with different foods.
Refoscos are insane. Refosco is such a good grape. Buy grapes that you've never heard of, by the way. Just go out and buy grapes you've never heard of. That is the best thing for the world of wine, for the world of grape growers, and for the world of like people that want something different sometime.
Right.
If you support it, it will happen more often.
So Sheehan's is 24 and Luna Rosa's is 20. And
ours is 24.
Yeah. Yeah.
24, 24, and 20, those are the great prices.
Yeah, I absolutely think all of these are really price,
Value?
value. That's that big word.
Good
like
value.
I said, it is hot in here. I can't think. It's been a long day.
It's almost
All right.
82 degrees in here right now.
We gotta jump into some questions before I can't speak any longer. All right, thank you guys so much. These wines are spectacular. Your winemaking skills show, and people.
So, what are the
definitely buy those.
questions?
Well, I wanted to make sure that they got a good shot up. You know. All
They
right.
did.
Yeah.
It was awesome. This is our
so
show.
the first calm down. Our first question is, what's the biggest difference in winemaking among New Mexico winemakers?
Ooh, okay. How do you, diplomatically, all right, so there's different regions in New Mexico, big time. Northern New Mexico has way cooler climate, so we retain a really super high acidity. So the northern winemakers working with northern grapes have to worry about potentially too high of acidity or not getting a grape ripe enough. Mm-hmm. So we have to learn how to deal with that. In the southern part of the state, we have super hot days, but it's still the high desert, so we get super cool nights anyway. And we end up in there in some kind of range in most regions in southern New Mexico as a slightly warmer than Napa average. And the average is the thing that matters with grapes for whatever reason. They really care.
So,
but hold on.
I mean, we're
So-
just talking about
so
same
the
grapes,
winemaking,
same place.
Same grape, same place. So the winemaking, I don't think region to region. I only think it's, honestly, I really do believe it's winemaker to winemaker, depending on what they personally like, what they personally want to showcase.
It seems like trial and tribulation. It's not the word I'm
That's
looking
not
for.
the right word, but I don't know what the right word is. Trials and
Anyway, trial and error. Trial and God. I'm sorry, I'm not on my game.
tribulation. It is tribulation.
But that's for a different thing.
It is. Okay.
But God.
Yee,
Anyway,
how dumb are we?
anyway,
Over here in New
I think-
Mexico, we're trying to figure it out. No.
I think that there's some amount of focus on education, focus on traveling and learning from other winemakers, how involved you are in that, how quickly you want to move a wine through the process too. What is your end goal? And I think that that's where you start to see differences in what the end goal was, or it reflects their philosophies in winemaking and things like that.
By and large, I would say most people are trying to produce a higher quality product, and it's
Especially these days.
you can cut some corners here and there, and then the wines kind of show them. And I believe like that was probably the earliest iteration of New Mexico wines. But I know for a fact everyone's evolving towards like, okay, maybe I stop doing that one thing that's slightly cheaper, and then I end up with a slightly higher quality. But any one thing doesn't matter. Any one thing doesn't matter. It's all if you put, the more corners you don't cut, the better your wine's gonna be. And I feel like most people are like coming around to as wine drinkers,
investing in those little things that make a bigger difference in the end.
And wine drinkers are wanting a higher and higher quality product, and I feel like New Mexico is really coming like has made major strides in the last 10 years, and in the last 20 years, like really, like 20 years ago is a whole different situation than it is now.
I completely agree, and very good president of the New Mexico Wine Association. Second question is, Italian wines are confusing. Is there a trick to reading the labels? And that it is, and they are starting to change labels so that when they come over into our market, they are changing it so it's easier to read, and they put the grape on the front. But really, there's not really any way around it other than putting in the time to learn. Oh, I tend to like wines that are labeled Tuscan.
Right.
Okay, well, take a second and really learn what Tuscany is, what it means, the different areas, and why all of a sudden Sangiovese tastes different in different parts of Tuscany.
The basic rule is Spain, France, Italy, Germany, they all label their wine. Well, Germany's a little bit. All right, so Spain, France, and Italy, let's call this. They label their wines by the place that they're grown. And the reason they can do that is because they're governed by a series of laws, and they can't label it that place if they haven't gone through certain, they have to make the wine a certain way, it has to be priced a certain way, and they have to pass a tasting panel to label it in that certain way. So if you find something you like in Italy, you will know, like if it says Chianti Classico, you'll be like, and you taste this wine, you'll be like, dude, that was awesome. And then next time you go to the store and you're like, that same label, the same winery isn't there or whatever. Chianti Classico from a different winery will be pretty close, pretty darn close. Mm-hmm. It's pretty stringent and that same thing goes for all of Europe basically. So you could get into later on knowing that Chianti Classico is made out of mostly Sangiovese, which we grow a lot of here in New Mexico. But if you're,
that's a nice way to simplify it.
Yeah, in the New World, Australia, New Zealand, United States, Canada, South Africa, South America. We all label our wines by the varietal, and we're mostly that varietal. So it's just a different way of thinking about it. But if there's something you like over in Europe, find out what the grapes are. Figure out what the grapes are, because you can't find it on the label. And then you can try those from around the world and decide if, no, the Italy version was the best one for me, or I also like them from everywhere. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a really good call. And this can be a complex, full-length discussion.
Yeah.
So if you have further questions about that, message us, and we can start getting into that off camera. All right. Wine in Europe and other parts of the world are so, I can't see, I'm old, are inexpensive. Why are New Mexico wines priced so high?
There you go. All right.
Back to the regions
There's a couple factors. The main factor, the very, very, very main factor is big wineries are taking all kinds of shortcuts, the shortcuts that I was talking about earlier. So their wine doesn't taste like wine exactly. They're adding water, they're extending, they're doctored, they're extending their product, they're adding chemicals that simulate kind of wine flavors.
Not all big wineries, but like the really big winery,
But the lower cost wines, definitely all of them, worldwide. And it's why you can buy a Pinot Noir from a massive producer in California versus a Pinot Noir from a massive producer in France, and they're either way, $5.99, $6.99, $7.99, whatever you paid for it, it's worth it. You did it, But it's the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's French or if it's American or whatever. The little producers can't play in that game, so we're just producing our wine out of grapes, just grapes. We're trying to, make it the best we can, but we're not gonna water it down and then add chemicals to make it seem similar to a wine. So that's the main difference. That break happens around $15 up to potentially $25. You could get a $22 bottle that's
Scheisse.
That's scheisse. unfortunately.
The other thing is the government subsidies.
So the other thing is the European, some European countries and counties and, blah, 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 will subsidize their winemaking possibilities, so you can go over to Italy or France or wherever and get your, a $4 bottle next, carafe that just came, wasn't labeled, wasn't bottled. It just came out of a carafe and it put on your table, and it's just the most amazing thing you've ever had. Mm-hmm. So that is a thing. It's subsidized. Often they're subsidized, not in the U.S., but they're subsidized.
Export and import is a whole play.
Exactly, and it's things just are cheaper over there. It just is a little less expensive, but unfortunately, it costs a little more to do it right over here.
Small quantity by hand.
Yep.
All right. Good job. The fourth question is, what is your favorite place you have traveled, and is that dependent on the wine that was there?
She says yes, and it's Italy.
Well, that's not true. I mean, I do personally
If Italy had no wine, would that be your favorite place in the universe?
I really love the way Italy is. It's so beautiful. From the top to the bottom, everywhere I've been has been just exquisite. I mean, it looks like a postcard everywhere you go.
I didn't turn off the phone sound, damn it.
We are blowing it. Anyway, but I loved Hungary, and it was a true surprise, just the level of wines that were there. I knew that we were going to find Tokai.
Would you have loved it enough as much if you didn't have the wine?
I don't know. I mean, I think so.
Budapest, yes, but the rest, no.
Yes.
But the rest, no.
What about you?
Not having wine in specific locations is a serious drawback to me.
Belize. We didn't have any wine over there, and we couldn't Belize it. That was a hard, rough go, and there were a lot of bugs. There were so many problems. Babies sitting on piles of trash.
Jesus.
This is not the,
Belize is not the Belize that you think it is.
That you see as, you should go and honeymoon. There's a whole other side to it.
We did get some cashew wine that one time, remember?
Oh.
It was horrific. Anyway, no,
maybe that's why we didn't like it.
I have a harder time when I'm not, I can't drink. I don't know if you guys have figured out, but I, and probably Michelle, drink more than is comfortable when you're just drinking rum or something. We need it to be kind of wine to do this much. We love rum, we love tequila, we love whiskey, we love, maybe not her on the whiskey, but we love beer, we love wine. But if it's not, if we're just drinking one kind of alcohol,
taxing.
It's pretty taxing if it's not pretty good wine. Other than that,
so are you picking your favorite places based on that it?
My favorite places are still Latin America, just because I just love it, guys. and mostly not too much wine. We get in most of besides Argentina and Chile, you end up with just boxed wines from Argentina and Chile.
Our time in Colombia was interesting because we didn't have wine really, but phenomenal coffee.
And boxed wines from Argentina and Chile were pretty good. They almost did it.
That was actually spectacular. That's really good. Mm-hmm,
but it was, I was pleasantly surprised at the quality of wine. But I was also like, dang, it's just this over-doctored kind of mass-produced wine that it's not as great as I would love.
Yeah.
But,
so
it does affect where I like more. But it's not the sole determinant.
Yeah, we've risen above the lack of wine and enjoyed our places that we've been to. The final question is, if you had to guess the other's favorite special occasion wine, would you for sure know what it was?
Yours?
Yeah.
Like you and me?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what yours is.
What is it?
Champagne.
It's a specific wine.
Oh, very specific champagne. Let's
Specific
see,
wine for a special occasion. What would it be?
Yours is for sure a
I wish I had the Jeopardy song memorized. Yes, thank you.
It's any really well made bubbly, but I can't necessarily guarantee you what it is.
I think yours would be the Pinot Blanc from Domaine Carneros.
That's pretty good, yeah. Which they may or may not make anymore, even.
Yeah, how horrible. It was a really beautiful wine.
What is yours?
I would have picked Perrier Jouet if it was a bubbly. The special Fleur bottle is spectacular. But the Altesino are Rosso di Montalcino wedding wine.
Oh,
No.
of course. Just the Rosso?
Yeah, because you know.
The Rosso tastes like the Rosso, and the Brunello doesn't quite taste like that.
And yeah, it just reminds me of our wedding. Oh.
So sweet.
All right, so we're trying to actually have a shorter show.
Okay, we're out.
We are out for today.
We are. Okay, we're out. No, we're not out.
Thanks for sticking with us. Those of you that have written in questions, we'll be with you shortly. We do have a phone meeting to interject in this, so there might be a little lag time for today, but I promise we will get back to your questions and comments. The final thing is just to say what's happening next week, which is we have a special guest again, and that is the absolutely amazing Deanna Reeves.
No way.
Yes.
Ballet dancer
way.
extraordinaire.
Yes. So she's a professional ballerina and model and a spectacular person.
Dude, fuck. Hell yeah.
Oh, good catch. So
Sheesh.
she's gonna tell us a little bit about some things that we can do every day to feel better while we're still stuck in lockdown and feeling crappy about ourselves, and what it's like to be a professional dancer and how you keep that figure. I'm pretty sure it's not with my diet, but you know.
Could be
So,
jeans related. I don't know. She's
Yes.
been on like Taylor Swift video. Like she's
she's
for real, for real.
She's cool. Yeah, well, I do think it's a jeans issue, as in my jeans don't fit. So
I'm related
it's
to
fine.
her. Does that count?
Yeah, we have another one of Chris and Jesse's relatives on. They come from good stock. All right,
Good
so we
stock.
will see you next week. All right, thank you for sticking in there. All right, bye,
Cheers, guys. Thank you, Paolo. Thank you, Sean.